Hello folks, welcome to another tutorial, and this time is going to be about REST handling and handling stuff from internet. This is one of the most important things in Android, and it's good to have a solid start and knowledge about it. Now I created a simple application here. As you can see, it can get some record from a server, or it can get one of them. It can delete it, it can add another record, and so on. So it's like a simple REST application. Now before we begin, there are some stuff you need to take care of first. One, you have to have a REST server somewhere. Now I created this my own, and I tried to find a free one on internet, but I couldn't find in reasonable time. So it's up to you to find a REST server if you don't have it already. After you have your own server for testing or for application, it's a very good idea to get this tool from Google Chrome, which is called Postman. So go ahead in Google and type Postman, and yeah, install it. And it's a Chrome application, and here you can make your requests and test them and see what they return. You have here the status code. Get familiarized with this tool. See, you can here make different types of requests, post all sorts of stuff. Yes, so get familiarized with this Postman. So let's get started. I have a very simple server that just returns me some objects. So let's say I have this response. First you have to be careful what type of response it is. So here we have a JSON array, and inside it we have some JSON objects. So we'll have to create a model that matches this type of structure. I have here a sample application with just a couple of buttons. So at the moment they don't do anything, and we're going to code them together. Now I already have my okay, so before we begin, let's talk about what I'm using in this application. So I'm using the Retro Lambda plugin, and I'm using RETROFIT because this is a #1 choice for handling REST stuff in Android. I have butter knife to help me inject the views more easily. I have for logging instead of Timber klog because I find it easier to use, and I have this one annotations. Practically, if you're not familiar with butter knife and this klog, you can just make abstraction of them, but you should be familiar at least with butter knife. Okay, so I uploaded this sample application, so just this part here in my GitHub repository, and it's the ultimate Android app template, and it doesn't contain any silly stuff, just basic application. You might want to delete some unnecessary libraries like rating because you won't be using them. Also, if you are familiar with Eric's Java and MVP architecture, you can check out this template, but For now, just remember, search this template in GitHub and make sure you start it, fork it, see what's inside it, play with it a little bit. So I have my simple application at the moment. Doesn't do anything, and let's add the plumbing. Okay, so I already have set up my factory in an interface API because you have to initialize this retrofit, and you'll find it here in the sample API in the GitHub library. Maybe I'll put some links in the description if you want, but you have to basically, you don't have to remember all this stuff because you might forget to set up the read timeouts, connect timeout, the caching. You can just find it there. Also be careful to have certificate pinner, for example, so hackers can't look at what you do at your traffic. Also here you should have HTTPS. So because my server is a local one, this is my IP and this is my port to connect to my server, but here you should put your REST server. I hope it's clear. After you create this sample API, first thing that we want to do is to get all. So if we look in Postman at this method get users, it will return a list of users. So first we need to create this object here of users, and the easiest way to do it in case you have lots of stuff here is to go to JSON schema to Pojo, paste here your code, and let's say I want to name my class user, doesn't matter the package name, select JSON, select JSON, and use primitive types, allow additional properties. You only need this. Click generate, and it will generate for you a class with a name user, and we are going to use this class here in under data model user class. And for the sake of readability, let's generate also to string method. Okay, so we have our element from here. Now we have to put this element in a list, and if we look, this is a get request. So how to do it in a retrofit? Sorry, it's my server. You write like this: at get, and here you write call. Here you have to write what you expect to receive. So we have a list of users, I have to import this one too, and here we have to this is an interface, so here we define our function, and it doesn't take any parameters because we're just simply calling this URL. What we forget to, after the get, you put the endpoint. In our case is /users. So basically, if you have here 10 other get requests, or here you can make post ones, and here you can put some parameters and parameters inside it. This file will grow a little bit, but it will be very ordered. So we created our interface method, and let's go to our main activity, and when the user will click on button get all, first of all we want to instantiate this sample API, and you do it like this, and you trigger a request like this sample API get users in queue. Inside here we have to give a callback, so new control space callback, and it's automatically created by us. So here inside we have a response. You can test if the response is successful. I will just show you my an error stack bar. So what I do here, I have a dialog factory, which you'll find it in GitHub, that has some dialog creation methods, nothing fancy. Okay, so I'm just displaying a snake bar with a failed message. So if it's successful, I'm gonna put it in a text view. So response, first of all let's get it body user list string. Let's test our application. And see if we missed some stuff. So it's working. We have a list of objects here that furthermore we can send them to a database or process or whatever we decide to do. Okay, so we get them all. Now we want to get just one of them. Let's say record number 1. So let's go ahead and create this. So for getting number 1, if we look at Postman, we have to give a user slash the user ID. So it's user, and here you write the ID like this. So the response won't be a list, it will be just a single user. And inside here you use a pass, and it's the pass name is ID, and it should be a string. So now we will just copy paste all this part. Notice an error, I'm reusing this stuff here. This should be a singleton and you should inject it with dagger too, but this is for another lesson. So what we have here, get user, another user ID, I will get it from my edit text, and here we don't have a list, we just have a simple user object. Actually, we can copy this snack bar here inside in case some other errors happen. Okay, let's go ahead and test it. I'm just going to create a record I created, and it's the record with ID 5. If I want to get it, oh no, I deleted it. Let's create it again. So ID 5, this is what I expect to see if I ID 5 here. So it's working great. Now delete is very simple too. What we have to do, just add another stuff here, and it won't return anything. Okay, let's test our delete method. So I want to delete this 5. And it got deleted. Now for the most interesting part is a post. So as a post, you have here some options. You have form data, form URL encoded, raw, binary. Read in your server and how the server is created. You might be supposed to send a JSON file to it, or you might be supposed to send your data in some sort of form. But let's say that you're supposed to send it as URL form encoded. If you are supposed to send the JSON, you just click here raw and send the JSON. But for URL form encoded, I'll show you how to do it. So here is how we tested in Postman, and you see it returns 201 or 200 should be created. And it's of type form URL encoded. So if you look at the documentation of RETROFIT, which you find it here, you can see this part form URL encoded. Just copy paste it, you don't have to remember anything. And let's use it here. You have to be careful what is expected to be here. So we have /user with an email and a name. Actually, the documentation of RETROFIT says that you should end it with space here, with a slash here. Okay. So we have create user, and in the field I have to put email and name. and my server doesn't return anything, just returns a code 201. So let's copy paste our code for post, and here we have a create user. Here we have to put two parameters, email and name. So you should probably do some validations here to see if the user gave you the correct text. Okay, so this is pretty much it. And it should say created. Now if we check it, it's okay, it got created, but we don't have a message here like created. Probably because the response here is successful. If you read it, it's in the range to 200, so strange. But yeah, so pretty much this is it with retrofit. In case you have problems, you can enable debugging here. I already enabled it to debugging to basic. I can put it to body here. Like if I put this debug to body, I will have much more logging information about what goes wrong here. This is pretty much it. Like, to do a quick recap of the video, learn how to use Postman. There are other tools except Postman, but Postman, it's very easy because you can save them as different collections. You can those guys that work in the server, they probably use Postman too, and they can just give you the collections with all the requests samples that you can use. Next stuff, use this JSON schema to generate this stuff if you don't want to learn how to generate it yourself. Use my template, because in my template you will have this sample API factory generating with cache, with certificate pinning, with all kinds of stuff already pre-configured for you. And not the least, spend some time reading the documentation of RETROFIT, and you have to play a little with it to get it running. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Comment what kind of tutorial you want me to make for you the next time. Have a nice evening.